Hello everyone. So today we shall continue with the next property of the discrete Fourier transform, which is about the duality. Okay, so we'll keep this lecture short today and focus solely on the duality because this property is pretty much important and some detailed investigation is required to analyze the duality in the discrete Fourier transform. So we have been saying from the past couple of time that the DFT is very closely related with the discrete Fourier series, that is DFS. So it is expected that the DFT to exhibit a duality property similar to that of the DFS, which we discussed while when we have discussed about the properties of the discrete Fourier series. So let me write the analysis and synthesis equation first of all for the discrete Fourier transform to see the further analysis. So the DFT analysis equation is your x of k, which is equal to summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 of xn wn k n for k lying between 0 to n minus 1. So it is an endpoint DFT, while the synthesis equation is your x of n, that is given the DFT xk. How to compute this x of n is given by 1 by n times summation from k is equal to 0 to n minus 1 of x of k times wn minus kn for n lying between 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so these are the analysis and synthesis equation. So what we see here, just from the visual look, that both these equations basically differ only in the factor 1 by n and the sign of the exponent of the powers of wn, that is this one and this one. Okay, so proceeding further with this viewpoint, first of all let's see the first of all consider a finite duration sequence, that is x of n, and its DFT is x of k. Okay, so given this information, first of all we shall construct the periodic sequence, that is x tilde of n, which would be equal to x of n modulo n, and your x tilde of k would be equal to x of k modulo n. Okay, so that you would have, for the given periodic sequence x of n, you can compute the coefficients of the discrete Fourier series, which is x tilde of k. Now if you recall the duality property of the discrete Fourier series, it is given by that given this, the duality relationship is that if I consider this x tilde of n, then the DFS would be your n times x tilde of minus k. So this was the duality relationship of the discrete Fourier series coefficients and the periodic signal x tilde of n. So now pay a bit of more attention that if we define the periodic sequence, let's say we define a new periodic sequence which is x tilde 1 of n, and we put it equal to x tilde of n, that is this one. So I am putting this x1 tilde of n as this one, another periodic sequence where I have just relabeled the discrete Fourier series coefficients. So what do you see? That one period of this sequence would be the finite length sequence, that is x1 of n and capital X of n, right? So I am taking only one period of s. Then the DFS coefficients of x1 tilde of n would be this one, and let's substitute this x1 tilde of k, right? So let's write it here. X1 tilde of k would be equal to nx tilde of minus k. This is what we had seen from this duality relationship, that if I assume, if we define this x tilde of n as another finite line sequence x tilde small x tilde 1 of n, of which I can write the one period of which would be the finite line sequence x1 of n and equal to capital of xn, then the DFS coefficient of x tilde 1 are this one. So this implies that the DFT of x1 of n would be what? Some x1 of k, which would be equal to your n x tilde of minus k, where k varies from 0 to n minus 1, that is over a period, otherwise it is 0, right? Or equivalently, I can write my x1 of k as equal to n, representing this from using this notation, the modulo notation. Then I can write it as nx modulo minus k modulo n for k lying between 0 to n minus 1, otherwise it is 0. Okay, so based on this we can write finally that if x of n for a finite line sequence, the DFT is given by x of k, then for x of n the DFT would be your n x minus k modulo n for k lying between 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so this is the duality relationship for the discrete Fourier transform. Now to get, we can also simplify this modular notation that is this, considering this modulo, that which is minus k modulo n basically is equal to n minus k for k lying between 1 to n minus 1. Now for k is equal to 0, this minus k modulo n is equal to k modulo n. Okay, this is how you can simplify this modulo notation to finally compute the duality. We can consider one, we can see one example related to this. So in this example, consider some finite length sequence. Okay, this is in the figure A, you see some finite length sequence where we have taken capital N is equal to 10, let's say. Okay, so up to from 0 to 4 it is having some value, and after that we augmented it with the required number of zero valued samples. Okay, so having given this signal, from this we can compute the real and imaginary part first of all of the Fourier transform, because for this signal, for this sequence, we can compute the Fourier transform, which is x of e raised to the power j omega. And we know at the outset that it would be a continuous signal in frequency from 0, pi and 2 pi. So this continuous dashed curve represent the real part of the Fourier transform, and in the C figure is the imaginary part of this Fourier transform. And since we have also seen in the past that we are considering the samples of that Fourier transform to compute the discrete Fourier transform. So we have also labeled another axis with by k from 0 to 10 or 0 to 9 basically. So it would be some, these samples would be the DFT. So here we have also plotted the real part of the discrete Fourier transform and the imaginary part of the discrete Fourier transform. Okay, so this is a 10-point DFT. So here the two labels what we see on the x-axis are k and omega, because we are putting the Fourier transform, the discrete Fourier transform, on the same axis. But now what do we want? That this x of k, based on our discussion, that this x of k would be your x of n now, for which we want to compute the DFT. So here what we will do, we will simply label this axis and replace it by n, which we have done in the figure D and figure E for n 0 to 10 and for n 0 to 10, and we have extracted those samples because these are the samples of x of k. Now they would become the samples of x of n, capital X of n. Okay, so this is what is plotted, 5 1 1, all these values. Okay, similarly for the imaginary part. Now, following the duality relationship, what we have just seen, the 10-point DFT of the complex valued sequence x of n, that is capital X of n, is the sequence what is shown here now. So this is the formula. If you recall, it would be n x minus k modulo n, and now here n is 10. So this is what is substituted, n 10, and k would be this axis, right? And this would be the duality relationship or the computation of the discrete Fourier transform of the sequence which is x of n. Okay, so you see the difference between the duality. So pay very close attention to the duality relationship what we have discussed for the Fourier transform, for the discrete Fourier series, and also for the discrete Fourier transform. The key idea behind all the duality relationships remains the same. It's basically based on the inherent properties of the, either it would be a Fourier transform or of the Fourier series. The formulas may change, but the philosophy behind computing those formulas remains the same. That based on the analysis and synthesis equation of either of the transform or of the series, we figured out the duality relationship of the respective functions. Okay, so I think we can close this small topic today here, and then we can take up the rest of the properties in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.